jump back into this Lions thing because with how much that we just talked about this defense and how incredible of an effort it was, Kelvin Sheppard being a first-time play caller, I saw some conversations happening last night after the game how dominant it was. I mean, we even had Troy Aikman call it the greatest defensive performance he's ever seen in his life, which seems like a little bit of a stretch. I mean, Troy Aikman also said that Hutchinson was coming off major knee surgery. I don't recall Hutchinson ever having knee surgery, if we're being quite honest.
Were they also discussing that like wide receiver is the toughest position for a rookie to play?
Yeah, that was one of the dumbest things I heard too. we consistently have rookie wide receivers come in and dominate the NFL. Like this happens every single year.
It might be one of the truly easiest to make an impact at
right away.
Yes.
That was another conversation that they were having. Joe Buck just throwing the Tigers under the bus like right away in the Monday Night Football Open was insane. And there was one other thing that Aikman said that I couldn't. Oh yeah, a really good insight here when he said Jared Goff not really known for being a runner.
Thank you.
Yes, thank God that we have Troy Aikman. We're learning more and more. But yeah, he called it one of the greatest performances he's ever seen, which again was I thought a little bit of a hyperbole. But with that being said, like there are going to be some conversations pretty quickly. A lot quicker than I anticipated of Kelvin Sheppard potentially being a head coach at some point, and like I said, sooner rather than later. I'd like to make this clear. I don't think he's going to go from linebackers coach to defensive coordinator to head coach in a span of 2 years or 3 years. I think we're still at least a year away from that happening because I just don't think anyone's going to hire a guy that's only called plays for one season. Is it impossible? No, but I think there's a couple guys that are probably more likely to get hired because at the end of the day, more NFL coaches, more NFL teams would rather hire an offensive-minded coach than a defensive-minded one. So instantly Joe Brady gets brought up, the play caller for the Buffalo Bills, if he's not promoted to head coach by the end of the season, depending on how their season ends up going. You've got Brian Flores from Minnesota as a defensive guy. You've got, the offense coordinator they went up against yesterday and Josh Grizzard. Jeff Hafley, another defensive guy. So, look, do I think that Sheppard is pretty clearly going to be a head coach at some point? Yes, but even with the defensive guys, it feels like there's a handful that might be in front of him to be hired. I think the most likely guy to be hired is honestly Cliff Kingsbury getting a second chance at some point because obviously that was a failed experiment in Arizona. But now that he's got this Washington thing under his belt, I wouldn't be surprised if another coach or another team wanted to give him a second opportunity to come try to run an offense. Also, Jesse Minter as a defensive guy, who Michigan fans know very well. Like there's a handful of awesome defensive play callers. Kelvin Sheppard's just one of them. And if a coach is really trying to prioritize resetting the culture, maybe that's one thing, but that hasn't really worked so far in New York. So I guess here's to sum it up. I think Kelvin Sheppard is going to be, poached at some point. I still think we are at least another year away from that happening. So I'm not all that worried about that. But it was a conversation I saw happening last night towards the end of the game, and I wanted to kind of put that to bed, but also acknowledge how awesome he was.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it'd be a quick turnaround. I also we're not even halfway through the NFL season. I guess we're at the halfway point for the most part. I don't really see that many job openings as of now.
Well, there's one open at the moment.
Correct.
Mike McDaniel's a ticking time bomb.
Correct.
There's two.
And who's the other one? Maybe Aaron Glenn?
Yeah, I really don't think Glenn's going to get let go, though.
You got 2 and 15? Then what?
I don't know. I don't think... I guess if they get to there, I guess maybe my opinion will change on it. But I always thought they were going to give him a pretty long leash.
That's ultimately the question. As of now, and I know things will change. Giants could lose out. Brian Dable could be
That's
in
the
jeopardy.
next guy.
Yeah. I don't see a ton of openings this offseason right now. Granted, what's a ton? 6, 7. That was unintentional.
Sure.
6 openings would be crazy. I think right now there's maybe 2 or 3.
Buffalo's one that definitely could happen, depends how the season ends, but Kelvin Sheppard would not be someone to replace.
Nope. Because, would they not just have Joe Brady replace?
They would.
Yeah. I think there are a lot of good offensive minds right now in the NFL that deserve jobs. I mean, did you mention the Kubiak kids or no?
I did not.
Like this Seattle offense right now is pretty special with very limited assets on offense.
And this is after he did the same thing down in New Orleans that first month of the season last year.
Yes.
He was smart to get the hell out of there.
Yes, yeah, so Clint Kubiak seems to be a name that's also in this list that we kind of start talking about. Clay Kubiak, whether he's a Shanahan kind of grifter or not, who knows, but working under Shanahan for as many years and then doing what they've done with this offense, the top pass offense in football right now, despite not really having a quarterback. That's impressive. I think there are a lot of good offensive minds. Cliff Kingsbury would be the other one. You mentioned him. Joe Brady, obviously. For me not to be super concerned about Kelvin Sheppard.
We didn't mention Vegas. That's probably one where I'd be hard-pressed to think that Pete Carroll's returning as their head coach.
Really?
Yeah, this has been super disappointing. I don't think Tom Brady's going to sit around and let this thing linger on. I'd be shocked if Geno was back. I'd be shocked if Pete Carroll was back. Tom Brady's not a guy who's just wait around. It's never the way his head coach was. I don't think that's the way he's going to be as owner of the team. Saints, I don't know, that could be a one-and-done situation, but I don't know. There's a decent amount of openings, but like you said, there's also a lot of offensive-minded head coaches, even a couple defensive ones that I think would get picked up before Kelvin Sheppard. But with that being said, he is now very much on the radar down the line for a head coaching job, if you ask me.
Does it also hurt slightly the AG performance this year with the Jets?
Wouldn't it help, if anything? Help the Lions' case that he's not going anywhere?
But that's what I mean. It would hurt Kelvin Sheppard's opportunity to go get a head coaching job.
Yeah, potentially. You see some of the Aaron Glenn quotes from his press conference yesterday?
No.
He was. They were asking him about Justin Fields and whether or not he's going to be the starter. He's like, yeah, I'm going to call around some coaching friends around the league and see how they would handle this situation. It's like, dude, you're the head coach, actually. You have to be the one to make these decisions. You can't rely on other guys to do this anymore.
And it's also not really that hard of a decision.
Bench Justin Fields.
Like, he's not was he a part of the decision to bring in Fields this offseason?
No, I don't believe so.
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know.
I mean, it's
Even
also like what you
terrible.
signed up for. You know what I mean? It's what you signed up for to be the head coach of the Jets.
To run dysfunction.
Yep. And to have no quarterback.
Yeah, the Fields contract, when it happened, is still one of the most shocking things. The fact that he's guaranteed another $25 million next year is like, what are we doing?
Is it 20 or 25 next year?
Maybe it's 20 next year, but it was 40. I think it's 20 next year. It's like, what are we doing here?
I just don't think it's that bad, right? Like, there are quarterbacks. I mean, shoot, Kirk Cousins is sitting behind an offense that is pretty good right now, making way more money than that.
Which looks like one of the worst contracts in. But
the last decade, yeah.
At least they had a rookie replacement for him. You know what I mean? The Jets
I would say that's
even
worse.
Stuck.
That's even worse. The contract they gave to Kirk Cousins, knowing they were going to draft a quarterback.
Sure, yeah, you can make that argument.
Yeah, the Fields thing is odd.
That's your guy.
No longer.
989-837-6125. To sum it up, not that worried about Kelvin Sheppard leaving this offseason. Nor am I with John Moran. Feels like that ship has sailed. I would be pretty shocked if John Moran ever became a head coach. So I don't know why he'd ever want to leave this group of weapons that the Lions have gifted him. Seems like an offensive coordinator's dream job, especially with Morton, who doesn't seem like he's even real that motivated to take that next step forward. I think he's just kind of happy calling the plays. Mm-hmm. Why would he leave? There's not a better situation in the NFL than calling plays for the Detroit Lions. 989-837